Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it. Good morning, Algo artisans. What is up? It is Cowboy. It is 8:30 a.m. EST on the button, and we're taking a look at the NASDAQ prediction I made, just playing out pretty much right where I said it would go. Even less of a pullback than I thought it would be. But that kind of trade would have been appropriate here. There probably was a pullback on a lower time frame if I were to pull back, or if I were to look at the low time frames here. A very minor pullback, but it was there. It was there. You had a little breakout. And just a quick pullback here on the 5-minute chart. So one could have realistically entered probably here, probably in the next candle, if you want to be realistic about it. So there's the trade. Massive big move. Haven't hit targets yet. But, I have a rule where I can take profit at 80%, actually 85% of the profit level. But, the trade is here nonetheless. So that's a nice move. So I guess the question is, what's it going to do? Is it going to continue to go up? Let me take a look at the data here. I'm going to look at a different version of this. I'd say it's quite possible. I think there's enough gas in the can for this to go up to targets, but in this particular trade, I think the move might be to at least move stop, if not to entry, maybe put stops up to this level, maybe 29,734, right? So that's something that I would do here. 734. So that's now I took bites out of this. In fact, yesterday trading, I kind of got picked apart trying to trade differently on this than the chart that you see. But I ended up basically making it all back and then some by taking a monster long as soon as this became very evident it was going to break out. So, just sometimes when you're following the algos, you're trying to take small bites and you just realize, okay, this is going to be massive short squeeze, and so just go with it. And that's what I did. So I ended up on a green day yesterday as well. Bitcoin, just doing what I said it would do. Not seeing a significant pullback. One could, I suppose, enter right here. Let me just take a look at the bigger picture here. Yeah, I mean, look, one could enter at this current price. It would be a risky move, though. It'd be risky. I would still prefer to see a bigger pullback before entering any of these trades. So obviously we didn't see the big move down here, so this idea is not there. But there's not a lot of room up to this resistance right here. So what I mean by that, oops, let's cancel that. What I mean by that, okay, so let me go ahead and get rid of these, and we'll move this over here. Let's do it this way. Move this here. Those are maybe ideas for next week. We'll see how quickly the market moves. This is going to be a slow-moving market. Price didn't make its way down to there, but it may make its way to here. So if I were to buy a pullback, it would look possibly something like this right here. That's it. Something like that. We'll see. We'll see where price goes to. It may just kind of grind up and to the right and not give us much opportunity this week, right? So I'm not seeing a clear trade, but this in general is a week like that. Outside of big movers like the NASDAQ, I'm not sure there will be a lot of opportunities, right? So let's move on to USD CAD. Remember, you can ask questions if you have a chart you want to see. If this is the part where we do just for anybody in the public, for the YouTube audience, right? So y'all can just, hey, I want to see this chart, I want to see SpaceX, whatever it is you want. Just don't ask me for some dumb meme coin. Appreciate that. That said, now a good meme coin's another story, right? But I think crypto in general is going to continue down over time. I don't know that it's going to continue down today or this week, but I think we'll see more moves down the rest of the year. We'll see. We'll see if that's correct. I may not be correct about that, but on the macro, I'm usually correct about such things. Now we're taking a look here at USDCAD, right? So that in and of itself is really following the chart that I drew, right? So is it going to bounce here like I thought it would? If it does, is there any room here to take a trade? Well, we can move this up a bit, right? Because instead of this resistance, now we have a higher resistance here. So is there room for a trade? Well, first of all, I would need to see a bounce. And I don't think that's going to happen this very moment. This is a bit of a vulnerable chart. I do believe it may actually continue down a bit before it continues up. So I might modify this just a hair. It's been correct so far, so I will 1 pixel that. But I do think what might happen from here is possibly a move a little bit lower. Hard to say. Maybe something like this, and then a move lower, and then a possible bounce. And then some grind up. So we may have time yet in the week. Remember, towards the end of the week, we have, I think it's Friday at 8:30 a.m., I believe. We have some data. So whatever trade I take, if I were to take one with any US or Canadian pair, I would be out of it by Friday at that time. Right, so just understand that that data is coming, but maybe along that looks something like this. The market's got to get some volatility behind it for this to make sense, right? So this is just an idea. You know, that's kind of a solid idea, but you know, it's getting a little bit late in the week. We only have 2 days until that data comes out, so that's got to move all that in 2 days. So we'll see about it. We shall see. So this is the more recent Canadian idea. Give me 1 moment. Let me copy this image. Okay, just updating that for the members. Give me 1 moment. Next, we're going to take a look at EURUSD. But I need to fix this. Okay, having an issue. Sorry, folks. Give me 1 moment. There we go. Okay, apologies everybody, just trying to do everything at once. USDCAD, we are now at an area where it may want to reject down. However, I think that the bullishness in this on the macro is strong enough to push it past. I'd be really careful shorting this, although the structure does call for a short, certainly. You know, it does. But I would just be real careful doing that. So we're right there for the short, and if the move does call for, if the algos, if everything says okay, price going to go down, then great, we have our opportunity, and it's an opportunity that I called out. It would probably happen later, so I will adjust this, and it might look something like this. Okay, so that might be our opportunity, but we might also see the opposite, or I should say the breakout, and we get an opportunity to the upside. Of course, these are swing trades, and we are a little bit late in the week, so we must understand that unless you like holding positions over the weekend, then this may not be the trade. You may have to wait till next week. Those are the possibilities here, okay? So you got to watch out for that. And I think we are towards the end of the live lab for the public. I'm going to take a quick look at Bitcoin, and then we're going to go to the private live lab. Again, if you have any questions, put them in the comments, the live comments, or the actual video comments. We could do a chart for you. And also look in the description. There is a free algo in there. It's a very quick video. It's like 15 minutes long. And, you get to see me build an algo before your very eyes. You get to see the tools that traders use to connect that algo to their broker so it can trade for them when they're not even sitting at the computer. Now, you do have to optimize the algo before you use it. It's not plug and play. If you want to learn how to do that, come on over to algofactory.tech. We'll teach you how to do it. But do get that free algo, and it'll also put you on the email list for offers coming up and other such goodies. All right. Last thing we take a look at is Bitcoin. We took a look at that, actually. Sorry, folks. Although it actually seems to be pushing up a little bit more since we looked at it last. So I guess everybody probably wants to see silver because it's doing pretty well. So it did end up taking the more bullish route. So is silver turning around? Are precious metals finally seeing a macro move up? I'd be cautious on that, but it's showing a very strong bounce based on some data on the weekly. Okay, so this could be the bounce that ends the drought. This could be the big bounce that ends the big move down. I will zoom out to the daily so we can actually get a better look at this so you can see it. Silver is a bit more volatile than gold. Okay, so basically it tends to, I don't want to say lead gold. It tended to move at the same time, but it just tends to move harder, right? So is this the bottom of our big retracement? It's possible. It's possible. We did have this sort of little move up on the way up where it's currently basically bounced and above this right now. So this level right here, price has come down to that level and has bounced. It's just a question of will that bounce continue, or will we need to see price go down a bit and retrace to 45 or even 35 before it will head back up? Because this was a massive move, and price tends to come back down and grab bigger liquidity before heading up. Now, gold and silver are in the midst of some pretty big changes as far as the physical market is concerned. So if we are indeed looking at a new paradigm, we may not see those lower levels, and 60 or 55 may have been the bottom. Only time will tell. You see my dotted line prediction for price possibly heading down below those levels. And, that's quite possible. Down to 45, very possible, 35 possible, but that just remains to be seen. It's just going to depend a lot of it on what the NASDAQ does, because the broader markets deflate and they pull down the paper metal markets with it. So that just simply remains to be seen. For now, we do have silver sitting at 60, which is great, and gold at 41.94. So similar look to gold and silver as usual. I'll get into a deeper analysis in the private live lab. You're going to start that right now. Thank you all for watching. We'll be back tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. EST sharp, to take a look at what's going to happen for the remainder of the week. Thanks for watching. AlgoFactor.tech. Learn how to trade like a hedge fund pro, and do not forget.
Join us or die.
Just kidding. You're not going to die. We love you.